At the age of 11, I saw a film about Antarctica. This film inspired me to become the first person in history to have walked to the North and South Poles. On these expeditions 20 years ago, I witnessed firsthand the effects of climate change and global warming at both poles. An early breakup of the sea ice nearly spelt death for the entire team on the Arctic Ocean. We are committed to the preservation of Antarctica and have named our organisation 2041 after the year 2041, when the moratorium on drilling and mining in the Antarctic will be up for review, and the fate of the last great wilderness will hang in the balance. We realise that the promotion of renewable energy worldwide is the only way to preserve Antarctica. The only reason that people would exploit Antarctica is for its resources. And if we are using clean, renewable energy in the real world, there will be no reason to go and destroy Antarctica. In cooperation with the Russian Antarctic Division, our first action over 7 years was to remove 1,500 tons of garbage and rubbish from Bellingshausen Station on King George Island, Antarctica. Over the last 6 years, our Inspire Antarctic expedition teams have helped design and build the world's first renewable energy education station in Antarctica, the E-Base. These annual expeditions inspire students and business executives to focus on leadership, teamwork, and sustainable initiatives. In 2008, we at 2041 made Antarctic history by living at the E-Base for 2 weeks solely using renewable energy, communicating our message to a global audience. If it can be done in Antarctica, it can be done anywhere. I have dedicated my life to inspiring young people and industry leaders through action, not words, engaging them in a real dialogue on environmental issues and challenging them to be champions for positive change. Join us as we head south on Inspire Antarctic Expedition 2009.
Our expedition to the bottom of the world begins in Ushuaia, Argentina.
Oh, there's Martin Cole.
70 people from 28 countries arrived to head south with Robert Swan and the 2041 team.
They smile and they look happy and they look like they've had a long journey.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you, Daisy. Marvellous Chinese tea. It's a bit intensive, the weather's pretty rough.
Early on day 2, we hike up to the Marshall Glacier outside Ushuaia, which year by year is retreating up the mountainside and now out of reach to hikers. But it's still a good way to shake the cobwebs from long journeys.
Oh, this is crazy.
It's really exhilarating. Much better than sitting on a plane.
It's just so unlike anything I've ever done before.
Yay!
That was fantastic, and thank you for all the help.
The next day, we find ourselves walking down the pier in Ushuaia.
So excited. Can't wait.
Our ship, the Academic Yofe, is waiting for us to board.
I'll say 1, 2, 3, and then I want a bonsai explosion of happiness. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about there.
With the final rope thrown, we start drifting away from the pier. We're on our way.
Exciting, great, strong ship, and I think a really good team. So let's rock and roll on the Drake.
We're having a drill now.
Shortly after leaving port, we have our mandatory safety drill, and the reality of the journey ahead begins to sink in. Sailing down the famous Beagle Channel, all anticipation turns to the famous Drake Passage, widely regarded as the roughest seas in the world. Not living up to her reputation, the Drake grants us an amazingly calm crossing. Albatross keep us company as we get closer to our final destination.
So you can just get your fingers through, not your arms through. Because if it's too loose and you go in the water, guess what would happen?
Inflatable Zodiacs will be our transportation to and from the ship, and Jumper, our safety officer, takes us through the basics.
Water. And you'll get up nice and cuddly, so close. Don't get embarrassed.
Our first stop will be 2041's E-Base, where a team from RWE, Npower and Energy have been working for 2 weeks, putting up wind generators to make the E-Base go live 365 days a year.
Feels a bit strange coming back. It's sort of like home, really. This entire area, and I'm talking from those green drums over there, all the way through to the end of that beach there, was just entirely covered with rubbish. Here we are on Bellingshausen station at the E-Base, and it's been a fairly intensive day so far. The wind's quite strong, people are cold, but Team China have gone to the Great Wall Station over there. We've been having the AkzoNobel's team doing some painting in the E-Base. So we've got teams all over the place, plenty of radio communications. 3 people are very cold on the top of what we call Brighton Rock, doing relay work with the radios, and it's just terrific to be here. Last year we were struggling with the wind generators. This year we got so much power, it's unbelievable.
After our stop at the E-Base, we continue further south into an area known as Iceberg Alley.
It's a dream come true. It's gorgeous up here. It's cold. I don't know how anybody could survive out here.
Shackleton made his boat journey when they were trying to get to Elephant Island, about 20 miles that way.
Today is the first time we've seen these amazing, spectacular icebergs. They radiate this really fluorescent blue color, and it's just really beautiful.
And many of the icebergs you can see here are actually ice that's broken off the Larsen B ice shelf. So what the team are seeing today is true evidence of global warming.
When you see this in real life, you get more motivated to get home and try to inspire people to change.
A lucky sighting of humpback whales on our first morning is a good sign of things to come.
Wow, this is so exciting. We're all about to take our first landing actually on the continent. The whole group, everyone on the ship is so excited, so psyched up for this.
The higher the bow, the drier will stay.
Hey, welcome to Antarctica.
Oh, it's just an amazing feeling to finally have our first football here on Antarctica after the long journey we've all had to get here. It's a fragile but hostile environment out here, but it's just great to see it firsthand.
It's actually quite rough today, quite hard today, and I'm extremely impressed that every single member of the team is capable and happy to go up this glacier. So not only is Antarctica hardcore this year, looks like the team is too.
It really feels like another world. I know I'm still on this planet, but just everything looks so serene and different.
If you go onto that piece of ice there and you start walking, in 3,000 miles you will arrive at the South Pole. So that is the gateway to the Great Polar Plateau. So if you fancy a walk, it's 3,000 miles to the pole.
It's also overwhelming to see this, and it's so really pristine, and it kind of makes you understand what Robert is saying, that if we don't protect this area, I mean, what have we got left? This is so beautiful.
As we explore Wilhelmina Bay, Antarctica reveals her beauty on both a large and small scale. Back on board, the Leadership on the Edge program continues, with preparations for an overnight camping session on the ice.
Another 7.
Just another 7.
Please. Okay. 13 from...
As the first Zodiacs leave for the campsite, conditions are less than optimal.
There's a hell of a storm out there in the Drake Passage, blowing 65 knots. So it's quite a nerve-wracking camp, this one.
I've never ever camped before, ever.
So it's going to be very exciting, actually. I'm looking forward to it.
Trying to flatten out a spot for a 3-person tent.
Is that flat enough underneath, though? Let me have a look at your underneath bit.
Don't be Nancy boys with these pigs, you know, get them in there and then give it that.
Never forget the day I carried a toilet in Antarctica.
The predicted storm does not arrive, and the new day dawns clear. Along the way, we are reminded that we are only visitors in this wild place.
We are now at the end of our exploration of Antarctica, and I hope you all now realise why I hold this place so close to my heart. And I hope from now onwards this place, Antarctica, will live in your hearts forever. You are now part of a unique Inspire Antarctic Expedition community, a privilege that comes with responsibility. People call me an explorer. I'm not. The last great exploration left on Earth is to survive on Earth.
Standing here in this harbour in Antarctica makes you realise what the world was once like. And this is before we got hold of it and we built the industrial civilization that we live in today. What's clear is that while everybody has a role to do and everybody has a part to play, business in particular has the investment muscle and the momentum to make the changes, but we can't change it on our own.
We need to do everything we possibly can, and we need to find the money to do it. Robert is an inspirational leader, and he's teaching all of us how can we campaign positively to sort out climate change and to take the lead.
As I look around at the scenery and how beautiful it is, it's very much a reflection of how I think all of us are feeling inside. Myself and my peers are very inspired to go home and inspire all of those around us so that this has meaning beyond just where we're standing today.
There are solutions, but the window of opportunity is closing fast. So work together, people, governments, companies, individual people, we need you.
It's about leadership and also about what we can do to make a difference to keep the world and safely, and also keep the climate change. And a lot of things I've learned from this trip, so thanks a lot. Thanks Robert, thanks 2041 team.
You are now the heroines and heroes of that journey. Let's leave Antarctica, work together and make it happen.